Filipinos presents Community Spotlight, featuring California Care Association with Executive Director Mark Alipio and California Care Provider member Francine Peñalosa. Sponsored by Mayfest. Mayfest is an exciting annual festival celebrating the diverse Southern California community. This year, we're highlighting remarkable caregivers, agencies, and facilities that provide essential services to vulnerable populations in LA County. Enjoy a fashion show, card display, games, new talents, and captivating performances by the community's most talented. Be part of the family-friendly fun on Sunday, May 7th at the Carson Civic Center. Please welcome SoCal Filipinos founder, Jason Lustina.
Good morning, SoCal Filipinos. I hope all of you are enjoying your Saturday. It's a beautiful day. The sun's out. We don't have any rain. But I'm really excited to bring you today's program for our Community Spotlight. But before we get to this, we have a couple of announcements. Lots of events happening within the SoCal Filipinos world. We are celebrating Filipino Food Month. So make sure you visit a local Filipino restaurant. Make sure to check out the Filipino Food Month directory at socalfilipinos.org. You'll see the list of restaurants all the way from Ventura County all the way down to San Diego. Our most exciting event, there's about 1,500 of you joining us for Filipino Day at Disneyland. I know we're really excited. Come out, wear your Filipino gear. If you want, purchase the official SoCal Filipinos Disneyland t-shirt. Deadline is tomorrow, so that way you get it in time. Also, we want to say congratulations to our friends at Nurse Unseen. They're having their LA premiere. We've been strong supporters of them, and they're actually premiering at the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival on May 6th. Also happening on May 6th, we have the Valley Asian Cultural Festival at Pierce College. Then another event, same day, May 6th, Long Beach Filipino Festival. And then we'll be talking a little bit about this event on May 7th. As I mentioned, I am really excited to bring up today our special guest. It's our Community Spotlight, where we like to highlight the different community organizations here in Southern California. So without further ado, we are highlighting today the California Care Association. And today we have our Executive Director, Mark Alipio.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
Thank you so much. Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And then we also have Francine Peñalosa. Hi, Francine. You're on mute, my dear. As she figures that out, how's your Saturday, Mark?
It's been pretty good so far. It's a nice day out. I can't wait to just be out there, really. How about you?
All right. Hi, everybody out there. Sorry, I was on mute.
No, you're fine. I know that you dropped off your child at T-ball as well.
I did. I just dropped her off with Nana right now and then raced back here so I could be with everybody. I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you too for joining us. And we're here to highlight your organization and the great work that you do for our community. So tell us a little bit about yourselves. Mark, I'll start with you.
Sure. Okay. My name is Mark Alipio. I am first a caregiver, right? Also, I'm a second generation or first generation operator for our family's business, providing services to individuals with developmental disabilities as well as adults. So in terms of today, we're meeting as I'm as the executive director for California Care Association. And our goal here and our work around this is to really engage with caregivers, recognize the quality in care and training. So that's just a little bit about myself as to who I am. And then, yeah.
Okay, hi. Again, my name is Francine Peñalosa. I'm a small business group home operator. I have two group homes, and today we are highlighting the importance of caregivers. They are truly the backbone of adult residential facilities, and I have the utmost respect for what they do and the work that they do day in, day out. And we're just here to highlight them, to show our support to caregivers.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about the California Care Association. Mark, do you want to take that, or is it Francine?
Francine, would you like to? Or?
Go ahead. You could.
Sure. Okay. We're a nonprofit organization focused on supporting and empowering caregivers, seniors, and adult care providers in the community. So when I was starting out as in really learning my family's business, I I really had the trouble because I had nobody to really lean on and nobody to connect to. And so our goal as an organization is to really offer that community and offer education resources, caregiver supports, and networking opportunities to care providers like ourselves. And we've been in this pandemic crisis situation, and I think it's time that we recognize that we have to really connect once again, not just through the virtual, right? And so our attempts here is to really just talk about the dedication and improving the quality of seniors and adult homes in the community based care services and addressing the challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis, but then also as a state in general, we do have a very, very diverse population. So we recognize that, and our goal is to really activate and talk to community leaders that are in the space. And our mission is to really, as California Care Association is committed to educating, preserving, and developing self-determined and person-centered home and community-based programs that enhances the safety and well-being of California's most vulnerable residents in licensed senior and adult communities, as well as home care organizations. So we're really focused on working with the state. We're recognized as part of the stakeholders for Department of Social Services. And so our goal now is to really go back into the community and really engage with the different providers to educate them about the initiatives that the state is working on, right? And
Mhm.
so, in essence, our vision is to really restore, preserve, and enhance working models, right, and improve the delivery of care, as well as develop resources and increase the quality of skilled workers, right? So,
Mm, okay. So,
yeah.
Francine, I want to ask you, like, what's the difference between caregiving and nursing, so that our
Okay.
viewers understand a little bit more?
Well, honestly, like I have to say though, caregiving kind of nursing, obviously nursing, they are also caregivers as well. However, nurses, obviously have to go to school, they get their certifications, they get their degrees, and caregiving, on the other hand, we do have certain courses and that they have to take, and continued education units in order for them to be able to work in facilities. However, they do not need to have like a bachelor's degree or formally go to school for this. But they do need to have, one thing they do need to have is compassion for, our most vulnerable adults, and, have to be willing to get in there and help them live a life that they deserve. So our clients, we try to integrate them into the community. So our caregivers are so important to helping our most vulnerable do that.
Great, thank you, Mark. So, why did you decide to create the California Care Association? Mark, you're on mute.
Well, that's really a great question, and every day I still think about that why I did, but it resonates that it's really the legacy work, right? 2 years ago, my dad passed away, and that's actually when uh, I filed for the I initiated the organization, and it's really the work around that is how do I improve the thing that my parents or the thing that is left for me, right? Or for the community. And our goal outside of that, it's just, I mean, really why I founded the organization is to help caregivers and care providers, in essence, really achieve their career, like goals, actually. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
And otherwise, okay, let me go ahead and retract back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, why I founded the organization is because I really want to improve the quality of care that our homes are providing. And in terms of the community, it's really to share the same views and concepts of, yeah, what I'm trying to say. Other-
I
yeah,
think we get it. We get it. We want to
yeah,
better care, for especially for adults and seniors. So tell us a little bit more because I think you kind of hit on
yeah.
it a little bit about like the mission. Like, just talk to us a little bit about the goals of the organization.
Yeah, sure. Well, again, in terms of we identified the need of the unified platforms to support caregivers and senior care providers. We really need uh, the the in terms of the goals is really okay. We've identified a need for a unified platform to support caregivers and support care providers, right? And our desire is to really create the network and share best practices and offer ongoing education and really be passionate about improving the lives of seniors and adults facing challenges in just really living independently. Uh, we we aim to enhance the quality of senior care through education, resources, and we're working to improve the care development opportunities through the state, mainly engaging with them and educating providers about the different funding that's available. So that way we can really increase the quality of care as well as the scope of support that we need, because it's really to facilitate the collaboration and work with seniors and adult communities, really.
Oh, awesome. And Francine, you're a member.
Yes.
So how have you benefited by, or how have you been how have you been benefited by the California Care Association?
Uh, where do I start? So, I have been operating since October 2017, and we had pretty smooth sailing for about 2.5 years, and it was great. And then, stuff happens, and, issues happen, and stuff that I've never experienced before. And then you have to go back and evaluate yourself, like, okay, what type of trainings do I have to do? So back then it's like you kind of like just look to check the boxes on what they want you to educate your staff with. But when I met Mark, it was different because we do check those boxes. However, it's so much more customized. So it's unique. It's unique to your facility, what your facility's needs are. That's how the caregivers are educated. And not to mention, Mark brings in so much experience that every issue that I've gone through, he knows, he's familiar with. So he can help us with educating or giving the tools to our caregivers so that we can avoid, issues, not to mention enhancing the workplace, making it more fun, making it more engaging with the clients. It has a certain aspect too. I mean, our caregivers typically are Filipino. I mean, there's that camaraderie that you get when working in a group home. And so I hear so many good stories with like how they eat together and how they chat together. But at the end, it's taking care of the clients, but it's so much more than that. It's offering our caregivers the best education possible, so they are taking care of our vulnerable, but however, to keep them happy with their workplace.
Yeah.
No, that sounds great. Because, and it's funny that you mentioned that a lot of the caregivers are Filipino. So, like, Mark, I'm going to ask you this question.
Yep.
We know that a lot of nurses are Filipino. Now, Francine just said that, a lot of the caregivers are Filipino. What is it about Filipinos and wanting to take care of other people through these professions?
I just really think that it's ingrained in our culture, right?
It's innate.
It's innate, yeah, and we are we're sought out because of the hospitability or the hospitability that we really provide. We're compassionate, we're caring, we're empathetic, right? As Filipinos, I mean, we're I think the best way to say it is that magalang ang mga taong caregivers na Filipino, right? And so that's really where why Filipinos are really sought out, and at the same time, nurses we nurses make I mean Filipinos make great nurses because of that, and so outside of that, why caregivers are so valued as especially the Filipinos is that I mean whenever I talk to seniors, right, you're like I remember this Filipino caregiver that provided care for me, and I want to make sure that I get another Filipino. So again, while there is that preferential, right, but we have to recognize that it is individuals' choices as to who they want to work with or who do they want to get cared by. So yeah. Anyway.
So, Fancy, I'm gonna kind of come back to one of your questions that you mentioned that you see a lot of camaraderie from a lot of the
Yes.
workers there, right?
Yes.
So, with this being Filipino Food Month, is there a
Yes.
lot of Filipino food that's at your facilities?
Oh my gosh, yes, yes. Speaking of that, so our caregivers, they bring in their own food and they'll cook and they'll, have food together, talk together. But I was like thinking like, how can I make this just more pleasurable or just, connect with them even more and support them even more. So, with the permission of my husband, since he's also co-owner, we have a budget that we are allowing to purchase with the client groceries. We're starting to purchase staff groceries so that they can already have the food there. So we'll provide, one meal, per staff per shift. And I thought, like, how else can I support them? They are the backbone of the business. I want to do everything in my power to support them and to also make them happy while they're in their workspace. So I'm like, well, they love food and they, of course, love Filipino food. So yeah, it's really important for me that I budget, to be able to purchase groceries, for them so that they could cook up a storm in there. The food is amazing, by the way. And I feel
like ask you that, like, have you had the Filipino food?
Oh my gosh. Okay. You know what I also had? Balut.
Oh,
yeah.
So after that, they've accepted me.
Amazing. We do have a question from the audience, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. Is there a strong growing need for caregivers? How would you encourage the new generation to pursue this career? Who wants to take that question?
Well, I can tell you right now what I have. I desire from young to elderly, like that are working in my facility, having a whole spectrum of age brings so much to the table when, for daily operations. You get the older women who are very motherly to the clients, right? And our residents that live there, they desire touch, they desire love. And so you get like the ones who are older who tend to fill that void, for our residents, where the young ones, the young caregivers are so energetic. They take them out on outings. They just bring this like fire inside the house and energy that I love. So yes, there is a growing need for caregivers because there is a growing need for group homes. We need to develop more. We need to have amazing caregivers caring for our most vulnerable. And, I plan in the next year to develop another group home. So I would love to hire young, in between age, old, everything in between. But this is good for young ones too, if they desire to eventually open their own group home. I want to be there for my staff if they choose to do what I do.
So it sounds like that also, like, by becoming a caregiver in a home, it exposes them to the business side. Like, it's almost like an internship where they get to learn the ins and outs and hopefully become their own entrepreneur and opening their own home.
Yes, I encourage that 100%. My last thing is for someone to get stuck in a position where they can't grow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're there to help them to cultivate that, that growth, and to show them that it can be an amazing journey for them if they want to eventually open their own group home. It's so amazing. I've had so many good experiences. However, the reality is it's not always peaches. Like, it's not always like easy. It's hard, but any business can be hard at times. But given the right tools and our experiences, like veteran owners' experiences, we can help them to avoid any issues and educate them as much as possible. But I'm hoping I get a few of my caregivers that really want to develop their own group home. I want to support them 100%.
Kind of this leads me to my next question. To the audience, I actually gave them a series of questions. I'm totally going off the list. So, but anyway, there's a lot of questions coming through the chat. So again, to everybody that's watching, thank you so much. I saw there's a bunch of you watching. I think at some point there was like 50 people watching. So again, this is SoCal Filipinos Community Spotlight featuring the California Care Association with Mark Alipio and Francine Peñalosa. The question that I do have is, what are the requirements, or what are the requirements to become a caregiver?
Sure, I can take that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, in order for you to become a caregiver, you need to first go through a background check, as well as a health screening, and after that, you also have to take a first aid CPR certification class. Prior to providing care, there is a 10 to 20 hour orientation that's required, and then 40 hours of onboarding. So in terms of caregiving in the facility, it is really formal, and it leads back to what the question was earlier, is that there is a growing need for caregivers because there's also a growing population of seniors retiring every year. Mm-hmm. And if we really look at statistics, we're really seeing issues in how many more are going to be needed, right? Yeah. And so it goes back to the issue that we're at in the 80s, right? Is that we're high inflation, we're at risk for war, and yet there's a need for caregivers because we just went through a pandemic. And if we've seen the statistics, right, 20% of those and 40% of those are Filipino that passed away. So I just really want to recognize the value of our community and that we provide. So again, yeah.
I'm going to go back to some questions. We have a few that are coming through. Yeah. So here's a question. What are the needs of caregivers in homes and facilities?
There was a survey that was done by the Department of Aging, and the survey says that, in terms of the needs of the caregivers, it's really one of the basic things. It's like, it's not really the money, because if they wanted to have the highest paying job, it wouldn't be caregiving, right? So the recognition, the training, the support, right, when they need it, a good leader in terms of a facility owner, right, and also the people that you work with, right? Those are really what's important, because the needs of the caregivers is just the support, really, I think, right?
And also, too, I want to add to the support, working just me being in the facility and having done this for a little over 5 years now, you can clearly see the needs of caregivers when and I'm talking in respect to like if they're, some of our caregivers have two jobs, sometimes three jobs, and they're working their butts off. So me as a provider have to be able to support them in respect to like resting, because rest is so important. To be able to caregive, you need to rest, and to be able to effectively do your job, you need to be 100% there. And so we really try to combat like caregiver fatigue, just like mentally being drained. So that's where I come in and really have to have dialogue with each of the caregivers to see like, what can we do to support you? What can we do so that you are getting proper rest, so that you come into the facility ready to work and care for our most vulnerable. But yeah, so it really does depend. Like I don't know. I maybe I'm more like new school, and I really want to be there for my caregivers. And I'm really like, if they say, hey, I want time off, or hey, I want my schedule changed, I try to do everything in my power to do what they want, in respect to like still maintaining a smooth operating business. But their feedback is so important to me. Some of them, a lot of my staff are like still quiet and don't want to say anything. So it's like pulling teeth. Yeah. So I like, it's funny because right now I'm meeting with each staff. I've never done that before. Taking them out to where, if they want breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I'm taking them out. We're in process of doing that. And I'm going to get whatever information I can get out of them, how to make it better in our facility, and what their specific needs are as an individual, so that at the end of the day, they can be happy walking into work and ready to go and ready to take care of our residents.
I would not be surprised if you're going to be contacted and people asking like, how do I work for you? I just feel a passion, of you, of owning this business and having to take care of not just of, the patients that are in your homes, but as well as your employees. So that's great. So our next comment that we have, this is just a comment. This is a great Facebook Live. It's vital to train caregivers on senior sensitivity and how to deal with older adults. So whoever said that, thank you so much. We're going to go to our next question. What were your experiences that led you to opening up a group home? I know, Mark, you own several. Your family does.
Yes. I mean, I grew up into it. Didn't really have much choice, right? My parents were live-in. We were living in garages actually, growing up. Yeah. So I mean, the caregiver narrative. We really
saying that, is that legal?
it but that's the point here, right? Is to be able to put these issues forward and talk about the experiences that really led me to why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? And it's because of those experiences that I grew up in and the challenges that my parents face, that really, I mean, I try to get away from it actually, but because I was looking for something more, but then I realized that what more can I be looking for if, I mean, the business in itself, you're providing care for somebody, you're improving your community, and then the job that, an opportunity that you provide really allows, that. And so what led me, I finally decided that it was time, right, to grow up, honestly, right? I have to say, and take on the reins, because I've been denying it for so long. And the roles that you choose in life is not really chosen, right? Or the roles that you are given, it's really assigned to you. So I'm just here to see how we can improve the care.
Yeah, awesome. We have a couple more questions. I'm going to go. I know there's a lot more coming through, but I want to get through these two. Then we're going to continue the interview. with my questions, not to be selfish, but what are the top 3 things to consider before opening a group home? Francine, let's take that one.
Okay. The good, the bad, and the ugly with group homes. Well, it's a 24/7 operation, so you have to keep in mind that the buck stops with the facility owner. So anything that happens, it goes back to you, whether it be something great, whether it be something not so great. It all reflects on the person who owns the facility. So I would say, time, especially when you get started, you have to dedicate so much time to finding the right staff. Even bringing clients into the facility, you have to make sure that there's a balance with residents and personality wise, and also knowing that you can work like any hour of the day. You might have to go in, but I don't want to scare anybody away from this, but there's times where it's completely, you'll go a month or 2 months or 3 months with, it's just like, this is great. There's nothing going on. It's amazing. It's great. You never want to put your guard down though. You always want to be involved. You always want to be talking. You want to be talking from your administrator to your house managers to each of the employees. You want to make sure they're happy at the end of the day. What another thing for opening a group home, you want to have definitely like a buffer as far as having like finances on the side, because you just never know. Like with COVID, we had staff like unable to work, but yet we were still paying them. So we wanted to make sure that, due to their illness, they were still getting paid during these hard times. Or, what if something happens and you're paying a lot of overtime or double time because you're short staffed? You always want to have a buffer. So, and this is like, when you open a group home, you want to have that buffer. You really want to have it all the time. What else, Mark? What would you say before opening another?
Well, it's the capital, right? If you're just opening up, it's the capital. I have to say that's the biggest thing, because when you're developing the home, you have to purchase the property, you have to renovate it. And that could take up to 6 months or a year, depending on how much renovation it requires, right? And then from there, you have to get licensing involved. And then once licensing is involved, then fire authority is involved as well. So that could look like about a year and a half of capital is what we're talking about.
But right? I don't want people to think like, well, that's unattainable, because that's not true. There's providers out there who will help. Like I really do want, if my staff are so serious and I see their qualities and I see that they can be a provider, goodness, like if I have the funds, because you don't always need to own a home, right, Mark? You could lease it from an owner. So like for me right now, I own 2 group homes. However, I do not own the actual houses. So I am leasing. It's completely possible. So, although my next one that I developed, I'm hoping to own the house, it's just a lot easier when it comes to like repairs and fixing things and renovations and everything. So it's definitely attainable. Here we're in the States, so you can really do anything if you set your mind to it. And whether you are, whether you're caregiving right now or whether you're working at at a grocery store, whether if you really want to do this, be in it, get experience, talk to the owner, and set your mind to doing it, because it's absolutely possible. It's such a good, it's a good income, and you could set it up for your future, children. My children, introduced them to the clients. And, while at first they were a little bit like hesitant, I mean, they're comfortable with them now. So it helps our future generations be familiar and not afraid of our vulnerable populations. But anybody could do it, bottom line.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. I think to our viewers, how does it sound if maybe we do another live on the business of group homes? It sounds like there's a lot of you that are interested. And if you're interested, comment now in the comments. Because I know there's a lot of questions like, how do you find your clients? How do you do this? How do you do that? So we'll save that for a little bit later if we have time. But there also was a comment. My parents were personal caregivers. I've helped my dad with his patients before. It was definitely a character building experience. Kind of, you said the same, Francine, with your children. Mark, I don't know if you want to take this question. What support or help does the caregiving community needs from the Philam community?
We all know at some point, right? It's not necessarily just a Philam issue. It's really a universal issue, right? At some point, we may have provided care, have needed or will need care, right? And so, in terms of the Philam community, we really want to engage the community to be not ashamed of what we do, right? And so that was one of the things that I consider myself Philam, right? And one of the challenges for me as a Filipino American was it's a dirty job, it's not dignified, and it's and it there really was that shame that I had until I really overcame that and just really looked at the value and the services that we provide in the care and the support that the individuals receive. So again, it's really just being open about and being proud about the family caregivers or the work that they do, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah.
I know that we're doing. I'll go ahead, Francine.
It really takes, honestly, like the respect that I hear from people when I tell people what I do, and when they say bless your caregivers, the respect that the caregivers get for doing such a selfless job. Yes, they get paid for it, but you really do have to like love to care for people, and yeah, you do. I've gotten dirty, you have to, like, the owners even have to wear many hats, and I'm willing to do that. I really want to show my employees, like, I could do what you do too, like, and relate to them. So I know exactly what they're going through, but we definitely, like, there's so many people who respect their job and who give their hats off to them, because not everybody can do this job. Mm-hmm. It's not easy. It's hard at times. There's sometimes like downtime to where they could relax and laugh and have fun, but like you definitely have to be a certain type of person to have a 40-hour-a-week job doing this.
Yeah. Wow.
And we recognize the contribution of the Philam community, yes, in the caregiving industry. So in the care in general, right?
Yeah, I know that we're doing an event that's coming up. I think I kind of hinted at it on May 7th. That's a really busy weekend, not just for SoCal Filipinos, but for the Filipino community. But tell us a little bit more about Mayfest.
Yeah, so Mayfest is actually going to be held in Carson Civic Center. It's on May 7th, starts at 12 o'clock p.m. all the way up to 6 p.m. Right. So our goal, or a reason why we're having this event, is to really recognize the caregivers and understand and redefine what normal is. Right. We've been in this pandemic for so long now that the declarations has been lifted. What does normal look like? So the way that our approach is, Mayfest is going to be just fun games, music. The Wish Bus will actually be there. There's a car show, and so there's going to be concerts on the outside, as well as in the inside in the main stadium. So I mean, in the main atrium of the Civic Center. So we hope to have we will hope to recognize caregivers there. So there's also going to be an award and recognitions for caregivers, and yeah, we can talk
That's
more about that. Yeah.
that's awesome. I grew up in Carson, so shout out to my Carson Sea House folks. So if you're from Carson, comment now. So tell us a little bit more of the awards. Like I know that we're still open for nominations, right? And what are the different categories?
Yes. So there's we're actually nominating caregivers, facility owners, and nonprofit organizations that's supporting the care industry. So the nomination process it's live. Where the deadline is going to be on the 25th of April.
Mm.
So we encourage individuals. I mean, this is part of the reason why we're here today. Is we need to nominate and recognize the caregivers in our community. So um, the award we're going actually Miss Senator Blumenthal will be providing awards and recognitions to the caregivers that's nominated, as well as care providers, which are facility owners, and it's not limited to Carson only. Okay, it's also Southern California, all the way up to Northern California. But it's the logistics of it. But yeah.
Awesome. I think everybody, if you know a caregiver, care facility owner, make sure you do nominate somebody. Go to mayfest.live. Again, mayfest.live. If somebody could type that in the comments. I know there's somebody from the events company and logistics. If they could just comment that so that way people could click that link. Francine, we need to get you nominated because you sound like a great facility owner.
No, no, save it for someone else.
We're actually, Francine and I are gonna be participating in vetting the care providers, the caregivers. So that way, we're fair. We're not
Yeah,
not us. We're not participating in that part.
yeah, we're not participating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do love these awards because caregivers tend to be the unsung heroes, right? They're the ones taking care of the patients. They don't really get that light, and it's just nice to have them be recognized, be on stage, accept everything. So it's giving them as they say, giving them the flowers that they deserve. So I love that. And then there's different activities. I mean, there's the car show, there's the concert. I mean, it sounds like a great event for the whole family to go and just have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been the Carson marching band is actually going to be performing, and and there's different other communities too, as well as who Intro Voice is going to be there. They're going to be headlining, and also
Intervoice, shout out to Paco. I know, where is Paco? Hopefully he's watching. I was a guest on his podcast.
Yeah, actually, well, I have an interview lined up on the 20th for Paco's podcast as well. So yeah, just a little bit of a
a little bit of a plug. So everybody, again, please visit mayfest.live so that way you can see the different activity that's happening. Again, please do nominate somebody, whether it's a facility owner, caregiver, whoever that you feel that is very deserving of the award. And also, this is also a fundraiser for your organization, correct?
Yes. So we've been providing caregiver training for about 2 years now. And so we recognize that we really need to increase more support in that way. But what is really needed is the crisis situations for caregivers. So our goal here is to fundraise for our organization, so that way we can increase the supports in terms of training, in terms of scholarships or financial need support if they want to further their career or education. So that's really what we're trying to do here for Mayfest. Yeah.
So, like, for those that can't make it to Mayfest, but I think all of you should go. If not, change your schedule. Don't go to the beach that day. Head to Carson. But how can they support you in the event that they can't attend?
In the event that they can't attend, it's a nomination of caregivers. It's sharing to family or individuals that that's near Carson. to come and join us for that day. And we're actually going to be providing in-person training now. So at any time that we are in your city, or if you need any crisis intervention training, first aid, CPR, these are ways that we can really support you that way. Yeah.
Great. Are you also accepting donations?
Yes, we are. We're accepting donations. It's actually at www.mayfest.live/donation. So, or donate. There you go.
Great. I think you have a video, right, that you wanted to share?
Yeah. So this is for the nominating.
Sorry about that, Mark. It cut you off.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
go ahead.
yeah, so please nominate caregivers, facility owners that you know. We're also accepting home care licensed home care organizations. So uh, we wanna share your stories and the inspiring support and services that you provide. So yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, again, everybody, this has been such a great learning about the California Care Association with both Mark Alipio and Francine Peñalosa. Thank you so much for joining us as we highlight your organization. Before we end this, I'll give you all the last words. So I'll start with you, Mark.
Again, thank you to the care that you provide as caregivers, and we appreciate your support. I really thank you for giving us the time today, especially you, Jason. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Francine.
Thank you, Jason, for having me. Being a small facility owner, I hope to inspire caregivers who would love to do something like this, who have the compassion to take care of our most vulnerable, that we can help as providers, as acting providers, help them reach their goals of doing that. And yeah, we could talk further, with whoever is interested. Hopefully I meet people at the festival.
Oh, I forgot to ask, where can people find you? Socials, email, share that.
Oh, goodness. Okay, well,
Yes.
probably through Mark.
Yeah.
Through Mark, yeah.
Our website is cacareassociation.org. And we're actually active in SoCal Filipinos anyway, so we'll be there. And yep, that's right. So, and then we on our social, we have CA Care Association. So all the handles, right? Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. It's all CA Care Association. So
I need to grab one of those sweatshirts.
They are for sale.
I really like that.
So again, everybody who's viewing, thank you so much for spending the past almost hour with us to learn more about the California Care Association. SoCal Filipinos loves to support our community organizations like this. So again, please support them either by making a donation, showing up to Mayfest, and nominating somebody for those recognitions. So other than that, enjoy your Saturday. It's sunny. Go visit a local Filipino restaurant in honor of Filipino Food Month. Everybody have a good Saturday. Bye, everybody.
so much.
Bye.